friends. Greetings and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I specialize in using nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and often deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health issue. That's why we're here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 29 years of practicing pharmacy, I've seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes and hypertension and obesity and skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle. But what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure, because the human biological system is a healing system. It's a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that healing, renewing, regenerating system a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health or nutrition or prescription drugs, we are here for you. We welcome your phone calls on The Bright Side. 844-236-6010. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you have questions about the longevity product, something you may have heard about, read about, something somebody may have told you, if you got questions about skincare formulations or about our Truth Treatment products or the longevity products, 844-236-6010 is our number. And speaking of the longevity products, if you want to order your Beyond Tangy Tangerine or your Healthy Start Pack or your Ultimate Enzymes or your Biolumin Nightly Essence, you can call the phone team at 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. You can also order products right off the website, brightsideben.com, criticalhealthnews.com, or pharmacistben.com. And if you're interested in purchasing any of my Truth Treatment products, including our retinol 5% gel, I saw a commercial today, by the way, early this morning for Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair. Supposedly it's a crazy product. It has retinol in it. It has a combination, they say, retinol SA glucose complex, right? And then you read the ingredient deck and you see retinol way on the bottom of the list after the preservatives. Preservatives are usually in a product at 0.1. That's 0.1% in the retinol in this crazy Neutrogena product. Unbelievable. Underneath, it's behind, it's after the BHT and the what's the other preservative in this thing? The BHT and the what is the other preservative? I don't even see. Oh, chlorfencin. Chlorfencin and BHT, those are the two preservatives, and the retinol is way at the bottom of the list. If you're interested in real retinol, if you're interested in real doses of retinol, you need at least 1%. Our retinol gel is a 5% retinol gel. You find out all about it at truthtreatments.com. All right, bottom of the hour, we're going to talk to Troy Opperlay about enzymes. Troy's been manufacturing enzymes and working with enzymes for decades, and he's pretty much the go-to guy when it comes to enzyme chemistry. We're going to talk about the importance of digestive enzymes and the importance of systemic enzymes. We've talked about how you can use digestive enzymes to get benefits like anti-inflammatory benefits. Yesterday or day before yesterday, we had Bill Henderson on. He was talking about how enzymes can be used to treat cancer, and they've been used to treat cancer very successfully. Anyway, we're going to talk to Troy at the bottom of the hour about enzymes. And we'll take your calls in our second segment. All right, continuing on with pigmentation and the role of stress hormones. If you are hyperpigmenting, you can take care of it topically, and we're going to talk about some topical strategies. But it's important to recognize that, like all skin conditions, it's rare that you have a topical problem when you have a skin problem. It's rare that your skin problem is caused by something that's happening on the top of the skin. Typically, when we have pigmentation or acne or oily skin or a rash or eczema or psoriasis, we are dealing with an internal condition that is showing up on the skin, and nothing exemplifies this relationship between the inside of the body and skin conditions as much as pigmentation, dark spots, or melasma. Yesterday, we talked about the importance of making sure we're processing estrogen correctly. Estrogen is a very complicated molecule. There's many, many different types of estrogen. It's, despite the fact we hear about the word estrogen, it turns out that there's many derivatives of estrogen, some of them toxic. and estrogenic diseases that are associated with estrogen. These are the illnesses that largely affect women who are high estrogen producers, are not so much the fault of estrogen as they are the fault of poorly processed estrogen. So if you're dealing with an autoimmune disease, if you're dealing with a reproductive cancer, if you're dealing with any kind of excess inflammation or pigmentation, you could probably throw depression and migraine headaches and gallbladder issues into the mix. Same for PMS, same for weight gain. All of these are likely to have an estrogen component. And if you suspect that this is involved in your health challenge, and this is particularly true if you have the estrogenic body type, which is rounder, softer skin, buxom, rounder features, thicker hair. If you have the estrogenic body type, and if you're dealing with any of these health issues, you need to focus on estrogen processing, and that means, number one, the digestive system, especially around fats. You can use digestive enzymes that help you process fats. You can make sure you're getting your essential fatty acids. You can make sure that you're getting your fatty minerals and your fatty vitamins. All of these are going to help you process estrogen. You can also use probiotics. Good bacteria are very important, not just for overall digestive health, but specifically for helping us process estrogen. And then there's a really, really cool ingredient that's in our Ultimate Enzymes called bile salts. You may have seen this. Now, we don't talk a lot about bile salts, but bile salts are tremendously multifunctional. Bile salts are almost like a remedy for gallbladder or for gallstones. If you're dealing with gallstones, I don't want to say they are a remedy, because if you have a stone and stuck in there, you need to do something about it. But as far as prevention of gallstones go, bile salts can help dissolve gallstones before they dissolve the crystals before they form stones. Bile salts can also act as a detergent to clean out excess estrogen, to clean out drugs out of the body, to clean out other hormones out of the body. Bile salts facilitate digestion. Bile salts facilitate the absorption of vitamin A and vitamin E and vitamin K and vitamin D and essential fatty acids for that matter. And guess what? Bile salts that you get in your Ultimate Enzymes also function as hormones. Yes, bile salts actually have hormone activity that affects sugar metabolism, that affects fat metabolism, that affects the energy production in cells, that affects the digestive tract motility, the movement of the intestine, that affects bacterial growth, that affects inflammation, that has powerful effects for liver regeneration, and can help fight liver cancer too. How do you like that? Bile salts that we never talk about, they're almost like a throw-in in your Ultimate Enzymes, have all of these tremendous roles to play in terms of health. And as far as estrogen goes, bile salts can be super important for helping clear out excess estrogen. So if you're dealing with a pigmentation issue, hyperpigmentation, melasma, dark spots, you got an internal problem. It involves stress. The nervous system, the pigment system and the stress nervous system are linked. Cortisol, stress hormone, is involved, and estrogen is involved. If that's you, focus on your digestive system, use probiotics, make sure you're using your Ultimate Enzymes. There's lots more you can do as well. Progesterone cream can help, pregnenolone capsules can help. Focus on the digestive system, focus on estrogen and fatty hormones, and use supplements that help you balance out estrogen. All right. Now let's talk about some topical strategies, and we'll get back to talking about internal nutrition and internal strategies for hyperpigmentation, but there's some great topical things you could do, great topical ingredients. My all-time favorite, tied for my all-time favorite skin ingredient, topical skin ingredient is vitamin C. I don't want to beat a dead horse here because we talk about vitamin C all the time. We'll talk a little bit about the internal nature of vitamin C and why it's so important internally tomorrow, but topically, vitamin C is a skin lightener. And it's an awesome skin lightener. And it's a non-toxic skin lightener. Remember, pigmentation, when the body wants to pigment, pigmentation is a fundamental process in the body. And when it wants to pigment, you really got to use some heavy-duty drugs. Hydroquinone is the go-to drug to stop the pigmentation. But if you use vitamin C, you don't have to worry about toxicity. You don't have to worry about drug effects or side effects. And you get anti-wrinkle and sun protection and anti-aging and even moisturization benefits too if you use the correct form of vitamin C. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're coming back with your phone calls right after this break. All right, we are back on On the bright side, I'm pharmacist Ben. Got Troy Opperly coming up at the bottom of the hour. We're going to talk enzymes. Troy's the go-to man. He's been manufacturing and working with enzymes now for decades, 30 years or so, I believe. We'll talk to Troy. Bottom of the hour, take your calls now, 844-236-6010, 844-236-6010. Let's go to Russia. And welcome Kevin to the bright side. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, Ben, it's Kevin. You know me.
I know you well. You don't sound like you're from Russia, though.
Oh, well, I'm not.
Russia, New York, maybe.
Yeah.
What's up,
can't
Kevin?
hide that accent. I'd like you to speak a little bit more about the fatty liver disease and how easy it is to get.
And reverse.
From the very safe Tylenol through medication.
Yeah. Did you get fatty liver? Have you been diagnosed with fatty liver?
I got hurt in '91, and I was on these poisons for the better part of like 11 years.
Tylenol every day?
Pretty much.
Okay.
And it was. I kept telling the doctor it hurt. They just didn't listen. They thought
you had pain in the lower part of your body where your liver is?
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
It gave me gallstones.
And then you got diagnosed with fatty liver disease.
Absolutely.
Now, here in this country, it's 100 million people have fatty liver issues. Same in Russia, I assume, right? Or do you know?
Worse so, but it's more of alcoholism.
Yeah.
Here they call Tylenol paracetamol, and it's highly restricted because they know how toxic it is.
Are you serious? Is it a prescription drug? Paracetamol is a prescription.
Yeah.
It's a prescription.
Very restricted now. I think for 5 years you have to go to several doctors before they'll even consider dispensing it. And,
interesting.
You could get almost anything up until 5 years ago. All you had to do was ask because there's really no problem with drugs here. Alcohol is the big problem.
They don't do pain pills and OxyContin and all that kind of stuff?
They took that away 3 years ago, and they're thinking about bringing it back because of so many high-profile suicides.
Now,
age 5.
When you say they took it away, do you mean they took it off the market totally, or they made it a prescription?
Took it away totally.
Wow. So there's no pain pills? What if you're in serious pain? What did they give you? Just like morphine injections or something?
You better go pray. I broke my finger, and they gave me nothing when they had to re-break it to set it.
Those Russians are tough, huh?
No.
I see Vladimir Putin fighting bears all the time.
Breaking.
Does Vladimir Putin really fight bears?
Probably wrestles them.
All right, so here's the deal with fatty liver disease. So many people have it. Why? Well, the liver is tremendously multifunctional. It's processing food, it's processing hormones, it's storing vitamins and protein and fats. It's just an incredible, incredible system, the liver is. Ancient people thought that the liver was actually ran the body. So here's the deal. If you have an issue with fatty liver disease, the first thing you want to do is clean the body out, especially of sugar and especially of fats. Between fats and sugar, you got the two major burdens on the liver. So treat yourself like a diabetic. Even if you haven't been diagnosed as a diabetic, restrict your intake of fast-burning sugars, and that means fruit juices and desserts and pasta and rice and potatoes. Anything that breaks down into sugar is going to put a burden on the liver. The second thing you want to focus on is fats. Avoiding bad fats, processed fats, hydrogenated fats, trans fats, and making sure that you're getting lots of essential fatty acids and good fats. Now, you can get your EFAs from foods, and you should get them from foods, eggs and fish and avocados. These are all good sources of omega fatty acids. And then you've got to make sure you're supplementing. Now, can you get supplements pretty easily over there, Kevin?
Oh, I have very good supplements, and
Okay,
I
good.
actually have a can of your BTT, the 2.0.
How'd you get it? You didn't buy it, did you?
Did
they ship?
With privately.
Okay, yeah, I don't think they shipped to Russia. So focus on the fats. Make sure you're using lots of your essential fatty acid foods, and also EFA supplements. Then there's great nutrients that you can use for the liver. We had Dr. James Ehrlich on several times on the program, and he has been doing a lot of research on bergamot and a specific type of bergamot. There is amazing literature on bergamot extracts for liver disease. It's really stunning. I don't really talk a lot about herbal extracts or phytonutrients that much, but the literature on this is just mind-blowing for fatty liver disease, for metabolic syndrome, for diabetes, and they all go together, by the way. Fatty liver disease is part of the diabetic syndrome, so anything that you do for your liver is also going to help your sugar. So get on the Bergamax. That might be another thing that you want to do. Glutamine powder, so that you want to help your body make glutathione. Glutathione is a very powerful detoxifier. Can help with fatty liver. And then also building glutathione with NAC. Now, I'm not sure if you can get that there, but you can certainly get it in this country. And selenium.
That I'm not sure.
Between glutamine, NAC, and selenium, and whey protein, which is also a good source of glutamine and glutathione, by the way. Between those four, you've got some really powerful liver nutrients. That is whey protein, which contains amino acids for building glutathione, glutamine, NAC, and selenium. You've got four very important elements of the glutathione molecule, which is probably the body's number one detoxifier. And remember, the liver is your detox organ as well as your a digestive organ. Now, anything you could do for the bile system will also help. So your ultimate enzymes, we talked about bile salts earlier, and it's very important now that you're not on a statin drug. One of the reasons why statin drugs are so toxic is because they suppress cholesterol, and cholesterol equals bile. Bile is a type of cholesterol. So if you're on a statin drug, not only are you running risks of liver toxicity because your liver has to process the stuff, but you're running risks of liver toxicity because you're not going to be able to make the cholesterol derivatives like bile that are important for liver health. So, and by the way, staying off all drugs is important, prescription or otherwise, for the liver, as you pointed out accurately. If you take a prescription drug or any kind of drug for long term, you run higher risks of liver toxicity because your liver has to detoxify the drugs. So and by the way, intermittent fasting is another thing that you can do, and also probiotics is another thing you can do for the liver. So between selenium and glutamine and whey protein and bile salts and digestive enzymes and treating yourself like a diabetic, and also intermittent fasting can help, and selenium, you've got some wonderful nutrients that can help protect your liver. Last but most certainly not least, vitamin E is super duper protective for the liver as well, and vitamin E is not found in many foods, at least not in good high quantities, high concentrations. So if you want to exploit or leverage the power of vitamin E for your liver, you got to make sure you're supplementing with 400 international units a day. And as we said before in this program, with vitamin E, you want the mixed tocopherol form and the mixed tocotrienol forms. You got lots of stuff there. And don't underestimate the importance of caloric restriction and intermittent fasting when it comes to fatty liver disease and liver health. Is that helpful, Kevin?
Yeah, I do that fasting. I have the omega fish oils. Here in Russia, it's amazing. You could get bottles of the tocopherol vitamin E.
Yeah.
I get retinol, 11%.
Cream? Topical?
No, it's an oil. And
11% retinol.
Vitamin B3.
Very interesting. Now, do you have health food stores there and place vitamin stores and that kind of thing?
They do have them, but I have a pharmacy that gets these oils and they take care of them. I'm taking 2 different type of probiotics.
How's the food situation? Can you get organic foods? Are there GMO foods? What's the food situation like?
I know what the codes are for the GMO. I avoid them like the plague.
Okay.
Now they got this counter sanctions, and the food is getting a little bit strict. It's a myth about there's no GMO here. You could see it on the corn.
It's a myth? Did you say?
It's a myth. There's GMO here. It's buyer beware.
Kevin, there's the music. Got to take a break. We got Troy Opperly coming up at the bottom of the hour. Thanks for your call from Russia. Appreciate it, Kevin. God bless you, my man. All right, take care. All right, that was kind of cool. Okay, we got Troy Opperly coming up at the bottom of the hour. We're going to talk enzymes, enzyme nutrition, and more. We'll talk maybe a little probiotics as well. Troy knows about that too. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening. Okay, we are back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for listening, friends. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, 24/7 on our archive page at brightsideben.com. You can purchase longevity products right off the website, brightsideben.com, or you can go to pharmacistben.com or criticalhealthnews.com. And if you're interested in purchasing any of my Truth Treatment products, you can go to Truth Treatments, enzymes.com. Okay, I'm excited to have our next guest on, Troy Opperly, the Enzyme Man. Troy's been working with enzymes for decades, and he's going to tell us about a couple enzyme products and talk some general stuff about enzymes. There's a lot of misunderstandings about enzymes. You know, vitamins, as important as they are really, at least the main vitamins, the vitamin C and the B complex and vitamin K, are actually coenzymes. They actually help enzymes work. But the work of life, the work of livingness, is really about enzymes. Did I say that right, Troy?
Yes, absolutely.
Tell us what you know about enzymes and tell us a little bit about why they're so important.
Well, I always tell people, like, just imagine like your body contains millions of these building blocks which continually renew and maintain your life. You know, without them, there wouldn't be a single person, plant, or animal that could exist. They're the fountain of life, the magic force, the life energy, kind of the labor force, if you want to put it that way.
So how is it, though? Those are all great terms and
yes.
metaphorical, but how is it? What do they do? How are they working?
Well, on a fundamental level, enzymes do two things. One, they're a catalyst. In other words, they speed things up. Scientists have been able to do some research. Without enzymes, a single chemical reaction could take up to 50 million years to occur on its own. You add an enzyme to that equation, just one enzyme, and it takes 0.33 seconds.
Just one enzyme?
One enzyme. So less
takes millions of years and turns it into seconds, or
yes.
split seconds.
Split seconds. So
that's amazing.
That's the first thing that enzymes do. So again, if we look at the human body and all the things that we require on a daily basis, there are quite literally millions of reactions happening every second that require an enzyme. So enzymes are making all those things happen for us. So that's the catalyst portion of it. Then the second side of it is the ability of enzymes to take large molecules and break them down into smaller molecules.
It's like digestive enzymes.
That's where most people, know enzymes is in the digestive category.
Right. So there's enzyme detergents actually too. I mean, you can buy cleaners and cleansers that exploit this power, right?
Absolutely.
So enzymes have an ability to break things down, and they have an ability, in essence, to build things up. Would you say? Is that true?
I mean, there's 6 different classifications of enzymes that go into some tear things apart, some put things back together. Yes.
So what are the other 4?
Well, that gets into how they're activated, right? Like some of them, all the ones that we use as human beings are hydrolytic. So
meaning?
that they require water in order to activate. So it's important whenever you do take an enzyme that water is present, or you do take a little bit of water with it. So then that'll activate it. Some of the other enzymes are more dependent on whether it's pH ranges or different things to get them initiated. But from the human perspective, the only thing that we're really concerned with are going to be the hydrolytic enzymes.
Enzymes that require water to do their work.
Yep, exactly.
That's why you can sell enzymes in a supplement product. As long as there's no water, the stuff's inert, correct?
Exactly. Once you put water, they activate.
Got it. And that's when they start to stink and break down. I've worked with enzymes in skincare products, and they're kind of a nightmare to work with in skincare for that reason.
Exactly.
You're laughing. Do you guys wear gas masks when you're working with the enzymes?
We have to, yeah. They're PAPRs, so they're air purifiers that pull the air through a HEPA filter, and then blow fresh air up into the hood.
So I want to talk a little bit about enzymes and their relationship to vitamins, coenzymes, and also I want to talk about enzyme deficiency. Before we get into that, tell me a little bit about Enzymology Research Center. That's your company, ERC Incorporated. Tell us a little bit about that.
It was started a little over 20 years ago, and it was for two main purposes. One is to be an international enzyme supplier. So a lot of the companies that manufacture or put capsules, enzymes into capsules, we supply the enzymes to them. And then secondarily, we're a contract manufacturer. So most of a good chunk of the companies out there that don't do their manufacturing, they come to guys like me to have their products manufactured, specifically enzymes.
Tell us a little bit about the relationship between vitamins, which are coenzymes, and enzymes.
Yeah, always, like you mentioned at the beginning of the show, that I always consider enzymes are the absolute, foundation. I mean, that if you were to take vitamins, in fact, there's a great enzyme book that was written in the late 20s, early 30s that talked about enzymes. Enzymes have been known and researched for over 100 years. They didn't even know what a vitamin was back in the late 20s, early 30s. They were still in the throes of trying to figure out what vitamins were. So vitamins are always been secondary to enzymes. I mean, they don't work without enzymes. So if you are enzyme deficient and you're taking a boatload of daily vitamins, they're doing you zero good.
And now, can there be enzyme deficiencies?
Absolutely. If we look at, I just look at children today. I'm like, wow, I'm just amazed. And there are a lot of different studies that were done by Dr. Edward Howell with animals and showing the deficiency, even Pottinger, that generation after generation of eating cooked processed foods will end up producing offspring, that are deficient in certain enzymes. So if you look at lipase, that's the enzyme that breaks down fat. I mean, that's clearly not, in most children today, or in very low amounts, because they can't break down fats. That's why you see the obesity epidemic happening.
So you're saying that we can be enzyme deficient from birth because of for generational reasons, from our grandparents and great-grandparents. Is that right?
Absolutely.
So that means most of us are probably going to be enzyme deficient.
At some level, sure.
Huh. And now, from a food perspective, what do you recommend to restore enzymes? I always talk about sprouts and living foods. What's your take on all that?
Yeah, anything there's a couple of I'll just say two levels. The first level is eating raw food, which is kind of like treading water. You're not going to go deeper into the hole, and you're not going to make any forward progress. So that's the first category. The second category is going to be raw fermented foods. So raw fermented foods actually have an excess amount of enzymes in them. So now you're kind of replenishing and gaining ground and gaining health if you eat those types of foods. So again, that's going to be your sauerkrauts, your kimchis, kefir type products.
Now, most of these enzymes require low pH, correct? Acid.
You mean as far as
as far as their activity goes, as far as being active?
In regards to like the things you buy at the health food store?
No, I mean when an enzyme when you take an enzyme and swallow an enzyme, doesn't there have to be a certain amount of acidity present for that enzyme to be activated?
No. If you look at each enzyme has its own kind of characteristic pH range, and most of the ones that are from a fermentation process are very wide. So most of them are going to be like from a 4 to a 10.
Seriously?
So it does cover.
I didn't know that.
They're active in the acidic range, and they're also active in the alkaline range. So it's the best of both worlds.
Now,
so again,
go ahead.
Yeah, and people always tell me this, like, okay, the enzymes go into the stomach acid, and then they're denatured, or they're killed off, or they die.
Well, stomach acid is, as far as digestive enzymes go, those need acid, correct?
Some of them.
Oh, that's interesting. Hang on, Troy. I want to talk about that when we come back, and we'll talk about enzyme supplements as well. So hang on, Troy. Got one more segment. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side, talking enzymes with Troy Opperly. We'll be back after this break with more good health information. Don't go away. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're talking to Troy Opperly about enzymes. Troy, systemic enzymes versus digestive enzymes. What's the deal?
Again, mainly where they perform their duties inside the body. So with digestive enzymes, they're going to mainly stay focused in your digestive tract. They're going to pass through the stomach into the intestinal walls and then out the other end. With systemic, you take them away from food. You want food present. They're able to travel through the stomach and then absorbed through the gut wall into the circulatory and blood system. So that's where they're going to do most of their work, is out in your muscles, tissues, and organs. And
when you talk about work, as far as an end user goes, as far as a patient goes, what can they expect? What can they expect from a deficiency, and what can they expect by replacing them supplementally?
Again, going back to enzymes only do two things. So whether it's in your digestive system or out systemically, they're going to speed things up, right? So if you're talking any kind of injury, I don't care if it's a little scratch or a cut or like a major injury, right? Like a car wreck or a broken bones, heart surgery, things of that nature. It cut recovery times in half.
Seriously.
If you want to recuperate faster, that's what you do. And then the second thing enzymes do is they break things down and clean things up. So again, that's part of the healing and recuperation process. So it's getting all the debris and all the stuff out of those damaged areas of the body and speeding up recovery. Again, if we look at a lot of things, we do to ourselves. I mean, if we look at what we're doing by eating, the foods we're eating every day, most of those foods are not completely digested. They end up out in the bloodstream, so then we're creating kind of a little internal mess that these enzymes have to clean up. So again, that's essentially what they do, speed things up and break things down.
So when you talk about a distinction between digestive enzymes and systemic enzymes, the distinction is not in the chemical itself, in the enzyme molecule itself. It's in where it's working.
And yeah, that's a great point. So the other thing with digestive, you have a bunch of enzymes that will digest fats, sugars, and proteins. Because your body is mainly, as far as systemically concerned, your muscles, tissues, organs are mostly protein. So then those formulas are going to consist mostly of proteases or enzymes that work on protein.
How about in the blood?
Same
as far
thing.
as blood clots go and that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. There are specific lots of wonderful enzymes that have tons of research that you can check out, from nattokinase that works on thinning the blood, lowering the blood viscosity, breaking down any potential fibrin or fibrinogen, issues, so that strokes, heart attacks are somewhat, you can prevent them, right?
And of course, the way nature designed it, we're supposed to be eating foods that have all these things in them, and that would take care of the clots, or at least partially take care of the clots and all these other things. The foods we were eating, if we were eating correctly.
Right, like all the indigenous peoples ate raw fermented foods we talked about earlier. If you eat those foods, they contain all the enzymes, contain all the probiotics, all of your vitamins. Everything's all in the food.
Wow. So how about? Do you know who Nicholas Gonzalez is?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Nicholas Gonzalez's work with cancer and enzymes.
Yeah, he kind of followed in the footsteps of, there's kind of like a chronology. So Dr. Beard, turn of the century, then Dr. William Kelly, Donald Kelly, did a bunch of research, and then Dr. Gonzalez carried that on. So again, looking at mostly, because you talked about this before we went to the break, but most of the plant-based enzymes have a really wide pH, so that's why they're absolutely wonderful for digestive purposes. Animal-based enzymes have a very, very narrow profile as far as pH, and it just so happens to match what the pH of the blood is. So most of the research that Dr. Gonzalez did was with animal-based enzymes, because they're
pancreatin.
So effective in the bloodstream. And I just read some articles, and I just recently got his book too that talked about what went wrong with his with his studies and stuff. But no, very incredibly prolific guy that got the power of enzymes and was sharing that and trying to get that out to people in the world.
What do you know about pancreatic enzymes? I know they use them for cystic fibrosis and for digestive issues, but what do you know about the enzyme, the spectrum of enzymes in the pancreas?
Yeah, and there was two parts, because I just learned this recently, which I thought was interesting. So, if you look at, because Dr. Gonzalez thought that this is dealing with animal-based enzymes, the higher the activity in numbers didn't mean anything, right? It was that he wanted the whole component. In other words, he wanted the whole pancreas, because the pancreas contains a large amount of fat, which was critical for healing. So when he started using these other formulas that were extracts and that had high concentration levels and zero fat in them, the results were gone. So he had to trace back and go, what the hell happened? So he went back and goes, oh my gosh, and found out. So that's critical, dealing with the whole cancer treatment piece, is that you deal with the whole thing, not just an extract or a piece of it.
Right. So he was grinding up the whole pancreas, the whole animal pancreas, and using it as interesting. So are you familiar with glandulars?
A little bit.
Okay, so that's basically the theory of glandulars, is that they grind up the entire gland, so you get everything, not just the extract. All right, so you've got some of your products on my website, brightsidehealthproducts.com. We also have the Bergamax up there that we've talked about in the past. I want to know about this stuff called estrogen that you're adding into your enzymes.
Yes, critical. If, like we already talked about, enzymes break things down, so that's the first step in digestion. But the second step, and probably equally, if not more important, is the absorption piece. That's where estrogen comes in. I mean, it's the ultimate absorption enhancer. So we took these two enzymes and estrogen, put them together in something we called astrozyme. So that's, and then we did a study to show that, yes, the enzymes break down 96% of the proteins into smaller peptides and amino acids. Then the estrogen comes in, uptakes those, and increases absorption rates anywhere between 40 and 60%.
Now, when you say absorption, you're talking about into the blood, not into the cells. You're talking about into the blood.
what we used in the study, the clinical study, was CACO2 cells, which are the human cells found in the intestinal tract. So
it actually upregulated uptake into the cell itself.
Up into the cell itself, yes.
Oh, that's amazing. How are you using the estrogen for other supplements?
For all of our digestive products right now is all they're in right now.
So people should be using this estrogen for all supplements.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but again, if you look at taking, and again, going back to the fact that we mentioned that with vitamins, the coenzymes, all these different things. You should be taking enzymes with everything you put in your mouth.
Uh-huh.
Whether it's a vitamin, any kind of supplement, any kind of food. And especially Astrozyme with estrogen in it, it's gonna not just break it down. You're gonna get 30 to 60% more out of it. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Okay, hang on. You said something very interesting. I want to make sure I understood this correctly. Are you saying that when you take enzymes with your supplements, aside from the estrogen, just enzymes with your supplements, you will improve the body's ability and the cell's ability to uptake those supplements?
Yeah, I mean that's what enzymes do. I mean, again, they're going to take anything. Without enzymes, there wouldn't be any. Like you'd eat something, it would come out the other end, it would be identical. So
wow.
Enzymes break that down, and they have a delivery mechanism to get that to where it needs to go. And estrogen just helps enhance that enzyme's ability to do that.
Could it be that if somebody's not getting the benefits they want from supplements, that they don't have enough enzymes? They're dealing with an enzyme deficiency?
That could be a major factor. Yes.
How fascinating is that? And this is digestive enzymes and systemic enzymes.
Yeah, both.
All enzymes. That is absolutely fascinating. That's a new one on me. So you can actually improve the uptake of vitamin C, vitamin E, essential nutrients, the Mighty 90 essential nutrients into the cell itself if you use enzymes with the supplement.
Right.
Wow, that is awesome. And that's just another reason why you probably want to do live foods as well.
Exactly.
What is the estrogen exactly?
It's two components. So there's the astragalus extract and then a Panax nodo ginseng extract. So these are obviously herbal source, but again the extraction process. I mean, they're just looking for a very specific part of the plant.
Do they know what they're looking for? It's just a complex. What is exactly they're looking for? Do you know?
I don't know that. So
okay.
As far as some of that stuff's proprietary and whatnot, but as far as there's dozens and dozens of clinical studies. I mean, that's why we chose to partner with them on our study and our research, just because they've already done a lot of that. They already done all the groundwork and laid the foundation.
So this is when you combine the estrogen with the digestive enzymes in your product. What's the name of the product that has both of those in there?
Astrozyme.
Astrozyme. Okay, cool. And that's available at brightsidehealthproducts.com. Troy, we're out of time. Thank you so much, but I want to have you on regularly if that's okay.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you very much, Ben.
Good deal. God bless. Have a beautiful day, Troy. We'll talk later. All right, that was Troy Opperly from ERC Enzymes. Mr. Enzyme, Dr. Enzyme, I call Troy. If you're interested in checking out the Astrozyme, head over to brightsidehealthproducts.com. If you want to purchase any of the longevity products, go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. And if you want to check out any of my Truth products, go to truthtreatments.com. Thanks for listening, friends. Have a wonderful, awesome, beautiful, spectacular day. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.